Hello everyone, welcome to another video brought to you by webvidtuts.com. This is video 10 in the PHP training series, and in this video we will be learning about switch case statements. So what is a switch case statement? It's almost exactly like an if then else statement, or as if else statement, except the syntax or the way it's written is just a tiny bit different. But it's the same thing as if else statement because it's a conditional statement. And you're checking if these conditions are true, then execute this code over here. If this is true, then execute the code over here. Just like an if, else, then statement. Or whatever they're called. I forget what they're called. Okay, but let's go ahead and start. Just go ahead and make a variable. Let's set that variable to 1. Just like any other video. Now, to start making a switch case statement, we want to write the word switch. Simple enough. And then we'll put 2 parentheses after the switch word, and then we'll put our variable right there. Whatever's in between these 2 parentheses is what we will be comparing to in our cases. And then just like an if statements, put 2 curly braces, and curly braces is where the magic will happen. So this is where we will put our conditions. And to write conditions, we write the word case first. And since we will check if this variable equals certain numbers, we will write numbers after the case. So let's go ahead and write case 0 because we want to check if this variable equals 0. And then right after this, you have to put a colon and not a semicolon. And then right here is where you execute your code. So if our variable equals 0, then let's just go ahead and echo 0. Simple enough. And then go ahead and write break, and I will be telling you what that means in a few minutes after we get this case statement written. And now let's check if this variable equals 1. So if this variable equals 1, we'll just go ahead and echo 1, and then write a break statement right there. And then if this variable equals 2, and then we will echo 2, and we'll write a break statement right there. And then there's something called default, which if you're comparing it to a if else statement, I'm kind of getting mixed up in my programming languages here, but if you're comparing it to a if else statement, then it's just like saying else. So it's like saying if none of these are true, then just go ahead and do this code right here. That's basically all it's doing. None of these statements were true. But don't put a break statement right there, because what the break statement does right here is, well, you know the if else statements, if you have a if else if like that, because this is basically what we're doing right here. In the if else statement, if something is true, then it'll exit out of the if else structure. So to do that in a switch case statement, you have to write the word break, which basically means if this is true, then just go ahead and get out and get out of the switch case, and then continue on the code down here. Trying to improvise here. So if this variable equals 0, then it'll say okay equals 0. So echo it out, and then let's go ahead and get out of this switch statement right here. And then it'll go down here. Same for if it equals 1. It'll say, okay, well, it equals 1. We echoed 1, so let's go ahead and get out of the switch case statements. And then it'll do the code down here. Simple enough, right? We don't need it on the default because the default is the last piece of the code inside the switch case statement. So you don't have to ever write a break command right there. Alright, let me get rid of that. So basically what the switch case statement is doing is we're doing our conditions with the var variable. And we're checking if var equals 0. If it does, do this. If var equals 1, then do all this code right here. If var equals 2, then do all this code right here. And if none of these conditions are true, then go ahead and just echo none of these statements were true. Simple enough, right? Well, let's go ahead and run this web page. To my localhost, video2.php. As you can see, our variable equals 1. So what it's doing is just checking if it was 0, which it wasn't. And then if it's 1, it echoed 1, which it did. And then since our break command was there, it said, okay, go ahead and get out of that switch case statement. And then same if we did number 2. Go ahead and load this up. It'll echo 2. And then once it hits echo 2, it's going to get out of that switch case statement. Now let's say we're at the number 3. Since we aren't checking if it's number 3, it's just going to go ahead and default to this right here. It's going to say none of these statements were true. And there you go, none of these statements were true. Alright, that is basically the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like this video and all of our videos, go ahead and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And go ahead and register as a member on our site at webvidtuts.com. Thank you all for watching. Hope you learned a lot about switch case statements, and goodbye.